to join this course. And also, the first point is why we need to learn Spring Boot. What is the advantage of Spring Boot? We have lot of frameworks are available to develop a web application. Why I need to choose Spring Boot and microservices as a framework to develop a web application. That is the point which I want to focus. Why microservices? What is the importance of microservices? Why industry? If you go to any role in today, it may be developer role, it may be tester role, QA role, it can be business analyst role, it can be project managerial role, it can be delivery managerial role, or it can be architect role, or it can be CEO level, vice president level also. You need to have a knowledge on microservices. So this is nothing related to technical. Everyone should have a knowledge on what is the relation of microservices, what is the relation to Spring Boot and microservices. All these things I'm going to discuss in the demo classes. Finally, and anytime, question and answers. At any point of time, I'm going to give a time for you where you can ask the questions and I'll give answers to those. Okay. So my discussion with the demo session should be collaborative, but not I'm going to give complete time only for questions. Okay. I will teach 45 minutes and I'll take questions 15 minutes so that I'll to balance everything. If I give an opportunity 1 hour also, it's not sufficient for asking questions. If I don't give an opportunity, it will be very bad. So I want to balance both the things. 45 minutes I'll cover, 15 minutes I'll take questions. I'll make sure that everyone should cover and every question I'll answer. That is my humble request to everyone. Okay. Yes. So those who join little bit late, this is the Hangouts group which I pasted in the Google chat. Sorry, it's not Google chat, Zoom chat. Please click there and you will be joined into that particular Hangouts group. Okay, right. Now, the first point is, before I proceed further, till now I completed almost 20 batches with Naresh Shetty. Till now, I almost completed 20 batches with Naresh Shetty. And these are the top questions. These are the top questions which are asked by the participants in my demo sessions. In the interest of the time is concerned, I am only going to ask the questions. I am only going to answer this. Okay. Most of 80 to 90% of the questions will be from this particular stream only. Okay. So I captured the top questions which are asked in my previous batches. I collected those questions and I am presenting here. Okay. Yes. By default, the first point is, I don't know Spring, but can I learn Spring Boot? This is the question which will be asked by a lot of people may have. To be frank, Spring Boot is an advanced version of the Spring. Spring Boot is an advanced of Spring. Lot of people will get it out without knowing Spring. How you learn Spring Boot? Ideally, theoretically, as well as functionally, as well as conceptually, it is not possible. But I recommend everyone to join my batch. Especially, I recommend everyone to join only for my batch because I am going to cover the required knowledge of Spring to learn Spring Boot. Even though you don't have a knowledge on Spring, still I sincerely recommend everyone to join this particular course because I am going to cover the required knowledge of Spring to learn Spring Boot. Not only Spring, I am going to cover JPA or Hibernate. I am going to cover JAX RS, that is REST services. These three frameworks also I am going to cover along with my course. So you no need to worry whether you know Spring, whether you know JPA or Hibernate, whether you know REST services. You no need to worry about that. It's my responsibility so that I'll teach those basic levels and I'll cover that. So that is the first point where I still recommend if you don't know anything, you can join. Don't know anything in the sense, three concepts. If you don't know Spring, you can join. If you don't know Hibernate or JPA, still you can join. If you don't know REST services, still you can join. That's the first point I want to focus. Second point, are we going to cover real-time examples in this particular course? Sir, what do you mean by real-time example? Is nothing but whenever you go for any interview, definitely the interviewer first question is, do you know this concept? If you say theoretically, then the follow-up question will be, where you used in your project this concept, where you used in your project, in which scenario you have used in project. Can you explain me what is that scenario in your real time? And can you explain me how you used? Can you write a pseudo code for this? That is the minimal expectation nowadays any interview is concerned. Lot of people will study internet and will study YouTube or some kind of media and they can understand theoretically, but they will lag in explaining real time because you didn't have a real time opportunity, right? You can take this class as a real time media. If you attend daily all my classes, if you attend daily my course, and if you practice daily, you will get real time knowledge, and that knowledge you can showcase in interview. So every scenario, I'm going to cover ticket booking application. I'm going to cover banking application. I'm going to cover e-commerce application. I'm going to cover stock service, which is a stock market. So different scenarios I'm going to cover in my course so that this knowledge will be helpful for you in clearing the interview. That is my second point. And the third point which I want to focus is, will this course will help me in getting a job for interview? By default, yes. I sincerely, from bottom of my heart, 95% I can assure you on a job guarantee perspective. 95% I can assure you. The reason is, somehow I was involved in the interview for the last 8 years. When my experience is 5+, my company used me in interviews. Even today also, every weekend I'm used to take interviews for my company. So I almost interviewed 5,000 to 6,000 people till now in the last 8 years. I know the industry standard. I know the people who are real time, who are not real time. I can easily analyze a fake versus real time guy. So definitely my experience on the interviews, my real time knowledge, my course definitely will help you. 95% of assurance I'm giving. But you also need to follow me, like not following where I'm going. You need to follow the course, like attending daily, practicing daily, like that. Okay, that's the second point. I'm going to discuss a course content in a few minutes, couple of minutes. And if you feel any topic is missing, you can bring to my attention. If it is really valid and really makes sense, I'll add that particular topic also to the course. The course content is dynamic, it's not static. Okay, next. Are we going to cover advanced security concepts like JWT and OAuth? Guys, one point I want to mention, those who attend for interviews, if 10 people are there in the final round, if there is only one position is there, who will be the luckiest person? The one who has experience in security. Security area is the very hot area in interviews. Lot of people will stress questions on security, where lot of people cannot answer directly on the security. That is a lagging factor for everyone. I'll almost take 15 to 20 sessions only on security, from basic levels to advanced level. I'm going to cover. If you listen to my security classes, you can crack the interview. That sort of confidence I'm going to bring. So I'm going to cover JWT as well as I'm going to cover OAuth. These are the topics which I also am going to cover. Advanced. Are we going to cover Angular integration with Spring Boot? By default, I hope you may know or you may not know. I don't know that. Spring Boot is a middleware which can connect with any front end, Angular front end, React front end, Node.js front end, Spring front end, .NET front end, PHP front end, as a Go language front end also. To any of the framework, it can connect easily. That's why it will be connecting with any of the middle. So I'm going to cover a Angular integration, but I'm not teaching Angular integration with Angular, because I'm an Angular developer. I'm considering Angular integration, where I will enter the data onto the Angular screen. When I submit the data will be submitted to Spring Boot, and through Spring Boot, data will goes to database. That is a real-time experience. Any Docker introduction with Spring Boot? By default, Docker is a DevOps concept, guys. Docker is a DevOps concept. Okay. So there is a separate course will be there with Naresh Shetty, Docker, Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, Docker orchestration, Docker Compose, Docker communication, scalability, high availability, containerization, runtime loading, runtime load balancing. All those are the concepts which which is a part of the course. Not with this course, guys. I'm just giving a small introduction on Docker, because DevOps is a separate course for that, and separate skill set is required for DevOps. You can go there, but I'm going to give a small introduction. Like, what do you mean by small introduction? How can I create a Spring Boot application, and how can I Dockerize? How can I create a container, and how can I deploy the Docker? Something like a simple introduction I'm going to give, a Docker introduction which I'm going to give. Do we get any real-time scenario on microservices like Eureka's registry, Zool proxy, API gateway, circuit breaker, or any of the front end? Any of the front end, it will going to have. Okay, so we are going to discuss a stock market example which will cover everything. End to end, I'm going to cover. Finally, last, ELK stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. This is the ELK tool, which is a distributed logging for specially useful for Spring Boot and microservices, which will be really used. And I'm going to explain that also along with my course. Okay. And also very, very important questions. There are few participants are continuously typing the same question. Some little bit patience is also required. Seems okay. Continuously typing the same question. Yes. This batch is not applicable for the participants who are having with Naresh Shetty NASCAM program or a full stack program or placement program. If you are already with Naresh Shetty in any of these programs, like NASCAM or a placement related program or a full stack related program, if you have anything, as per my knowledge, you need to subscribe this course separately. But please kindly get in touch with your admins, full stack admin, or else NASCAM batch admin, or else placement batch admin. Please check with them. There is a course with 9 to 10 that is taken care by Mr. Vijay on the topic of Spring Boot and microservices. I already subscribed with Naresh Shetty for full stack, or I already subscribed with Naresh Shetty on NASCAM, or already I subscribed with Naresh Shetty on placement related stuff. Can I join this? They will guide you and they will help you. I don't know a full clarity on this. As per my knowledge, you need a separate subscription, but kindly get in touch with them to get a good clarity. Okay. Now again, some questions are coming here. Prerequisites and durations. Guys, I'm going to clear all the questions. No need to worry. Kindly listen to the class perfectly. You need to have at least patience of 1 hour to be in the class and to listen to the class. Okay. Right. The one which are highlighted in red color, which are mandatory. If you don't know in red color, please don't join my course. There are 5 points I mentioned. These are prerequisites which are mandatory for me, out of which 2 are mandatory, 1 and 5 are mandatory for me. 2, 3, 4. If you have, well and good. If you don't have also, you can join. What is the first one? Core Java and advanced Java. Advanced Java means lot of advanced Java topics are there, but I want to mention at least multi-threading as well as JDBC. I don't know whether it's advanced Java or core Java as per the course structure. I don't know core Java or advanced Java, but I need to have what exactly I need to have is collections, data structures, object-oriented concepts, JDBC, multi-threading, little bit idea, very basic idea of multi-threading. That's the mandatory you need to have. Sir, I don't know core Java. Can I join? Don't join, sir. If you don't know core Java, don't join this course at all. It will waste of your time and waste of my time. Right. Knowledge on ORM frameworks like JPA and Hibernate. Knowledge on REST services. And knowledge on Spring Core of my course. Finally, learning zeal and passion. This is where I'm seeing in all my batches. The batch will start with almost 80 people, 60 to 80 people. The batch will start in the first month. Average count will be 40 to 60. In the last month, in the fourth week onwards, fourth, fifth week onwards, it will decrease to 20. In the final week, I'll have only 5%. 5 to, if at all, if you want to crack the job, if you want to get a new career into your place, kindly subscribe to my course and daily study, daily practice, and ask me questions, anything. I'm going to clear your answers. So learning zeal and passion. That is also very, very important aspect. And the last, the course content. Minimum I need 60 classes, not 60 days, 60 sessions minimum. It may go up to 70 to 80. Depends on the class, how it's going, depends on the duration, depends on the participants' absorption levels. So mostly 70 to 80 is the average time that is for duration of the course. Now, this is a course content, guys. I'm going to publish this course content in the Hangouts group also. I'm going to publish this course content in the Hangouts group also. Okay, right, guys. Someone is asking a meaning of zeal. Zeal means interest, sir. Okay. Yes. Okay. Right. Someone is asking me Hangouts group. I pinged them in the Hangouts group again. Right. Now there is a one more question. By default, servlet knowledge is required. We have a classes from Monday to Saturday. The timings are 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST, my classes. Monday to Saturday. I am a real-time employee. Sometimes, on an average, once in a week or once in 2 weeks. Once in a week, average, or once in 2 weeks. I may or may not have class. If any, my office call conflicts, I need to cancel the call. I'm telling you upfront in the demo time only. Mostly frequency is a once in a week or once in 2 weeks. I'm telling you frankly, guys. And after joining, hey, why Mr. Vijay is not joined for today? Why there is no class? Because sometimes I may have ad hoc calls. It is not very frequent. Mostly once in 2 weeks or once in a week. Very, very rare scenario. If that situation is there, if everyone is interested, I can take the class on Sunday also. But all depends on the people's interest who are subscribed to my course. And I am going to
Cover all the
by default, every scenario I'm going to explain in a project in a real-time scenario. But I'm not going to complete the entire project. Okay. For example, JPI is there. I'm going to explain with a ticket booking example. Microservices is there. I'm going to explain through a stock market example. Transaction management is there. A payroll management system I'm going to explain. If a RabbitMQ or Kafka is there, e-commerce framework I'm going to explain. So different real-time scenarios I'm going to cover. Okay. And moreover, I want to set a clear expectation to everyone. This course is for only learning the content, but not for project batch. I don't want to give any false impression here. Okay. Because to be frank, if I want to develop a project, it will take minimum 6 months to 8 months. Minimum time requires. It's not that a screen like CRUD operations, employee create, employee update, employee delete. Project is a project. In my perspective, it is not a project. Okay. So by default, project is not part of my course. I'm going to give you real-time knowledge in explaining the concepts through a real-time scenarios, different scenarios. Okay. Fine. Pavan Kumar. I unmuted you, Pavan
Yeah,
Kumar. Good.
yes, sir. Very good evening. Okay. So my question is whether you'll be covering webhooks and callback methods, or we can write webhooks and callback.
By default, webhooks and callbacks. That is what
Yes,
your point, right?
yes.
So internally, these are old methodologies, callbacks and everything. It's an event-driven architecture. It is covered internal. Okay. Which I want to focus is what frameworks we have in Java world before Spring Boot. Definitely we have Spring, right? And before Spring also, because Spring Boot, that's the first topic I want to cover. Definitely, I don't want to go directly to Spring and I don't want to give Spring versus Spring Boot. I want to go deep dive before Spring also. Then only you will get end to end knowledge, because I sincerely recommended everyone, those who don't join Spring also, I recommended you to join my course. That's why I'm giving my course content in such a way that you don't know anything about Spring. It's my responsibility to get a knowledge of Spring, which is useful for slash RMI versus Spring. This is what the important point which I'm going to focus further. Okay, right. The first point is nothing but poor garbage collection. This is a very first point, important point. Poor garbage collection. What is poor garbage collection means? Okay, what exactly the meaning is? If you develop any Java web application, either through EJB or through RMI, any other Java framework except Spring and Spring Boot, the common error always we will see, the common error mostly we will see Java dot long dot out of memory. This is the common error message we will see whenever you develop any web application using EJB or RMI or any other Java framework apart from Spring and apart from Spring Boot. Okay. Sir, what exactly that means? For example, when we buy a phone, right? When we buy a new phone, the phone will work very speed for the first couple of months. As long as if I am not clearing the memory, like WhatsApp messages, WhatsApp photos, WhatsApp videos, if I am not clearing them on a regular basis, what happens here? Entire memory will be occupied with this wastage of photos, wastage of videos, and the complete wastage finally slowly becomes slow. And if it exceeds the memory, finally phone becomes, you will get error. Same applies to web application. Okay. So by default, any web application you take, the common error message only in Java technology before Spring comes into picture, right? We usually have, right, before this, after that. You need to think of, right, the world before Corona, the world after Corona, right? In the similar way, web application before Spring, web application after Spring. Web application before Spring, Java dot long dot out of memory is the exception which you use to get it, which is a common exception. Mostly, when will this come? What is the rule? What is the root cause? Why we will get this exception? What is the description of this particular description of this particular message? Right? For example, I'm going to take a real-time scenario. Okay. Currently, Amazon sale is going on, right? That is the Independence Day sale or Diwali sale or Dasra sale. I don't know. Some sale is happening. Every day you will get a messages. You will get a TV with 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. You will get a smartphone with this range, 80% discount, 90% discount, sometimes 95% discount. Like that, we have some products. So that much popular, right? Nowadays, e-commerce framework. Now, I'm taking that e-commerce framework as an example, assuming is that 1 lakh of people around the globe, across the globe, 1 lakh people hitting Amazon application. Possible, right? Is it not possible? At any point of time over across the globe, 1 lakh people may hit Amazon application. It's possible scenario. And if they are processing an order, like order service is equal to ORD service is equal to new order service. ORD service dot set products, all products data. ORD service dot set payment data. Like that, we are going to write this particular code, right? In our Java, we are going to write this particular code. Okay. Now, if 1 lakh of people are hitting my website, 1 lakh ORD service objects will be formed. How many? 1 lakh of ORD objects are going to form. Right? Because every request is every session, different session. 1 lakh session will be formed. 1 lakh ORD service objects will be formed. By default, all these order objects, when they will be garbage, ideally they should garbage whenever we close the session, whenever we log out from the Amazon, whenever we close the browser, in any of these things. If user is terminating the application by explicitly clicking on the browser, by explicitly clicking on the logout option. So during that process, okay guys, during that process, is this 1 lakh of order of ORD service objects are going to be cleaned immediately? No, they are not getting cleaned immediately by the garbage collector, because in garbage collection algorithm, mark, sweep, compact, hidden generation, old generation, survivor space, like these are the technical terms are involved. If you don't know that, it's not mandatory. You need to know something like how to clean in the garbage collection, right? So as long as frameworks thinks that this ORD service is not useful, then only it will collect. It will not collected by immediately during browser close or during log off my application. Whenever log off my application or whenever my browser is getting closed, in any of the situation, by default, these objects will never be collected. These objects are piled up. Common, right? By default, if I taken a new flat, the day one, it will be very, very good. Okay. If I take a new flat, day one will be very colorful. Everything will be clean and everything will be looks good. So day two, some garbage will come. If I don't clean the garbage on the day two itself, maybe with negligence or maybe because of lack of time, maybe we kept this day two garbage as it is. Day three garbage will come. If you are not gradually cleaning up the garbages, maybe day 20, what happens here? 20 days garbage will be there in the house. Can you stay in the house with 20 days of garbage? So you will be moved out of the application. That is the case here. Poor garbage collection. By default, what exactly the problem I am mentioning is all the objects which are created using old technology, apart from Spring, any other old technology, if you are using, objects creation is immediately will be done, but the destruction of the object is not going to be done immediately, because framework doesn't know is that ORD service is really required or ORD service is not really required. Okay. By default, if developer writes a code, what is the code you need to write? Try block ORD service dot process order, like some order object. And if I write in catch and finally block ORD service is equal to null. If I write in finally block with ORD service is null, then garbage collection thinks that the role of ORD service is over. The role of this ORD service is over. So it will be ready to collect the garbage. It will ready to collect the garbage. Okay. So how many developers will write a code like this? Database connection, a stream object, or any of the objects. We cannot explicitly use a null keyword saying that this object is ready to be garbage. Framework should have an intelligence where whenever I close the browser, when I log off from the browser, in any of the situation, the object should be cleaned up. That kind of intelligence is not there with the old technologies. That's the first drawback of EJB and RMI, poor garbage collection. So in the initial days, application will work like a charm. When slowly garbage is piling up and it is going to kill the performance of the application, at one point of time, you will get Java dot long dot out of memory. You will not get a space to create. That kind is a common exception in the regular Java web applications who are using kind of stuff. Okay, maybe I'll cover tomorrow also some extended topic also. I'm going to cover tomorrow also. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Some people they are mentioning that they cannot join Hangouts group. So you can try some after some time. Okay. You can easily get that. Okay. So you can try after some time, guys. You don't worry about that. You will get it. If you're not get it, kindly drop an email to me. I will add you. Guys, don't ask the course fee. Finally, listen first to demo sessions. If you are happy with my demos, if you are happy with my course and everything, then admin will touch with you and you can provide the details. Okay. Right. Fine. Yes. Shirish Chaudhary, you have any question? Shishir, sorry. Shishir Chaudhary.
Yes. Vijay, I have two questions. One is, whatever content you have shown, are you going to teach them in same sequence? And how much part of microservice we are going to cover out of whole 60 days and 70 days?
By default, almost 20 to 20 classes for microservices, 15 to 20 classes for security. These are my two pillars of my course, and remaining thing 30 classes for remaining topics. Okay.
So sequence?
Sequence is I'll go with the different sequences based on how you people follow that sequence. The order in which I write, it's not the same sequence. Okay.
Okay.
Tirupati Rao, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
So I have good knowledge on core Java, but I didn't know advanced. Can I join, sir? No.
I told clearly advanced Java means minimum knowledge of JDBC, minimal knowledge of multi-threading. Minimal knowledge. That's it.
Sir, in
Very
parallel, can I join advanced in the SpringBoot,
yes,
sir?
yes, you can. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Guys, those who are asked the questions, please kindly make sure you release your hand. Okay. Yes. Any other questions? Demos will take either 3 or 4 days, depends on the time. Okay. Afia.
Sir, so I know core Java, but I did not attend advanced Java. And meanwhile, I have some knowledge of advanced Java.
Just
and
know the
Spring
same
Boot.
question is asked, right? Same question is asked just now. Okay. So you can parallelly learn, no issues. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sabyasachi Behura.
So, what about annotations, SpringBoot annotations?
We are going to cover all the annotations. Okay. Akshay Javani.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, when will start our regular classes?
We'll publish it. Maybe after demos are over, maybe next Monday,
Yeah.
maybe I'll update them. Nilesh Chavan. Nilesh.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.